I scored 61 points last game week, giving me one of the biggest green arrows I've had all season. For game week 24, my team's looking fantastic, and I'm even considering a differential captain this week. But there are some moves I could potentially consider. We're going to take a look at those in today's transfer plans video. So, let's get into this. Welcome back to the FPL Mugs YouTube channel and welcome to today's transfer plans video. If you're brand new around here, make sure you click the subscribe button and don't forget to like the video as well. It's one of the best ways to support the channel. It'll take you 2 seconds to do, and the aim for this video is 15 likes. Now, how did we do in game week 23? As you can tell by the brilliant smile on my face, we did unbelievable. 61 points for the game week, and it's to do with a few factors, mainly my squad, but also the fact we had a leak that Haaland and Foden were benched for Wolves at home, and that kind of changed a lot with my squad. But my transfers as well were absolutely brilliant this week, bringing in BRUNO Fernandes and Evan-Neilson in place of Foden and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dominic Calvert-Lewin still hasn't played. He plays this evening, but still really great transfers. Now, the disappointment for the game week, though, was the Arsenal defence. 1 point each in a fixture where it's at home. I expect them to do quite well. I honestly expected a boring game. I expected Arsenal to win 1 or 2-0, but Man United, man, they just look really, really great and really took the game to Arsenal, and what a fixture that was to watch. Disappointing for FPL, but of course, just a brilliant football match. Move along to the other defenders though, and this is where a lot of the rank was gained secretly here, because these are quite differential defenders I have here. Virgil van Dijk, 9 points. Brilliant goal from the corner, of course assisted by my midfielder of Dominic Szoboszlai. A little bit of link up there. Defensive contributions as well, brilliant from Virgil van Dijk. I was slating him all week, in fact, to saying like he wasn't like a great defender to own. I'm looking at him now and I'm going, well, maybe I still have that opinion, but the fixtures after these difficult ones, maybe he stays. We'll have a little bit of discussion about that in the next section of the video. Anderson, 8 points against Brighton. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I've had him for the longest time, and he always pops up and helps me in any given game week. We're looking at the midfield next, though, and of course, we have to start with Enzo Fernandez, because I told you all, this is probably the time to bring in. Palace was struggling. I expected them to be doing quite well within this fixture. Of course, in the absence of Cole Palmer, earns the penalty. And yeah, what a penalty it was, by the way. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. 8 points for him. Fresh transfer of the week, Bruno Fernandes. 5 points for him. A nice little assist, which he didn't do too much work for. But Dorgu absolutely smashing it in was so great to see. Bruno Fernandes, 5 points. Of course, Foden only getting 1. So a big positive trade in terms of transfers there for points. We look to probably the star of the game week here, Dominic Szoboszlai, man. Free kick was brilliant. Corner was brilliant. It's been so weird owning Dominic Szoboszlai because he has been unlucky in many ways not to have more returns in the past few weeks. I mean, especially last game week, hitting the crossbar from the penalty was absolutely gutting, but this week he's made up for it for me. 13 points, unbelievable. Should have been my captain for the game week, but I didn't expect a haul like that from Dominic Szoboszlai. Reinders come in to the team, and this was where the decision was made to actually bench Erling Haaland this week. Now, it wasn't a crazy sort of profit in points making this slight adjustment to the team, but we only had 5 minutes to make a decision. Because we got that leak so late from Lazy FPL, we had to be quick, and the thinking was 20 to 30 minutes expected playing time for Erling Haaland. Is that enough time for him to get a return? Or do we just want a Reinders who might play like 70 minutes? My decision was to go with Tijani Reinders, captain my vice in Thiago, and just let it play out. We did so. Reinders gets 3, Haaland gets 1. I'll absolutely take that. In hindsight, maybe, potentially, I would have played Rodon instead of Reinders and seen him play against Everton this evening, but you had to take that Wolves at home fixture for a City player. You had to. maybe that comes back and bites me a little bit, but we're so far ahead this game week in terms of points that I don't think will be pushed down too far in terms of rank this game week. But still, the right decision was made to actually bench Haaland this week. A lot of managers with that league still started him, which I feel as though was an okay decision at the time, but maybe if managers had a little bit more time when we got the leak, people would have benched Haaland as well, because, 20 to 30 minutes of Erling Haaland just wasn't going to be enough in my eyes for a great point total from him in any case. But moving on to the rest of the forwards anyway, Evan Nielsen, a fresh transfer in, 8 points. Really excited to own him in FPL. Should be on penalties in the absence of Tavernier as well, who is still on my bench this game week. There was slight consideration to sell him because of the injury, but we heard it might not even be that bad, so hopefully he's back soon for Bournemouth's amazing fixture run. Thiago, blanked, disappointing, he was my captain. That would have been such an amazing upside if Thiago did something within his fixture, but disappointment. Overall though, massive game week for Game Week 23. Let's take a look at my transfer plans for FPL Game Week 24. We're taking a look now at my Game Week 24 side and also some of the transfers I'm considering just to squeeze an extra few points out of my team this game week. You'll notice straight away that Bruno Fernandes is my captain this week. I'm not afraid of going against Erling Haaland. I have done it pretty much all season. In fact, at this point now, it's almost 50-50 in terms of me captaining Haaland and not captaining Haaland this season. So something I'm quite proud of, not being afraid to do that this season. Of course, some weeks it has massively worked out in my favour. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again, I think, this game week, with Fulham at home being Bruno Fernandes' fixture and Spurs away being Manchester City's. It's weird with Haaland at the moment because of the fact his data has been on the slight downtrend. City as a whole haven't looked fantastic, but we'll see how that develops as we go into the next few weeks. But for this week, Bruno Fernandes would be my captain. Arsenal triple up in the defence. The fixture's decent. It's just the fact it's away from home at Ellen Road. It's not an easy place to go, and you could realistically see Leeds squeezing a goal in the game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But of course, Arsenal, they'll want a reaction to that Manchester United loss the other day. Like, it is so imperative they do this to be, ahead in that title race. It's going to be such a big game for them. So interested to see how that plays out for my defenders. Virgil van Dijk is, one where I've been slating him so much recently. Then he comes and gets me 9 points, and I'm thinking, well, is there actually a situation where we just keep him? He's back hitting DEFCONs. He's just scored a goal from a corner. The fixtures for the next few aren't looking amazing, but longer term, he could be a hold. So we'll have a little bit of a look at his fixtures in just a second and really nail that down. But the defender I'm most worried about this week is Anderson. Manchester United away does not feel like a prime fixture whatsoever this game week for him. So we're going to craft a way to bench him this week with a transfer. I don't want to transfer him out. I think he holds good value still in FPL. Szoboszlai, Enzo joining in the midfield alongside Bruno Fernandes. I think their fixtures are good enough. Enzo, again, he's coming into a brilliant fixture run. I think you should be targeting him as a transfer in with your squad. I've mentioned it for the past 2 weeks now. I still think he's brilliant coming into these next 4 games. Evan Nielsen, a fresh transfer from Game Week 23. Wolves away from home. Brilliant. His teammate Tavernier, sadly, still on the bench for me. Until we get news that he is available for selection, he's going to remain on my bench for now. And of course, we spoke about Haaland. And finally, Thiago, Aston Villa away from home. Now, moving in, to some of the transfers I could make this week. I really want to manufacture a way where we can bench Anderson and it doesn't include transfer him out. And one of the initial ways I'm thinking of doing it is the cheap way, which would clear my bench of some fodder that I'm not a fan of right now. Now, Reinders has been brilliant when I've needed him to play. When I've been like, he's got a good fixture or he's predicted to start and I've started him, he's actually scored a goal or two for me. He's been really great, but for me, Anderson of Nottingham Forest, at around a similar price point, has better fixtures for the next 3 and can afford me to then bench the other Anderson of Fulham. And it looks quite good, especially with Palace's downtrend at the moment with, Glasner just not really been up for it as manager, and the players just seem so disheartened after obviously Mark Gahey, the captain, has left and went and joined Man City. And yeah, it's just not looking good at Palace at the moment. So I think capitalising on that could be a really strong move this game week. I think another one, which I know people will start to mention, but I'm not as keen on this, Thiago. Now, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Arsenal, they are really difficult fixtures. 2 of them away. In fact, probably Aston Villa and Newcastle are some of the hardest away fixtures you can have all season, in my opinion. Arsenal at home isn't too bad being at home, but still, Arsenal are one of the best defences in the league. So for me, he could easily be sold this week for the short term. The reason I say this is because from 27/28, the fixture run is insane, all the way till 35. So he will be part of my team at that point in the season, but whether I can jump off him now and benefit from him is the question. Now, who would I bring in? My thoughts initially go to João Pedro. Now, it's such a weird one because for the majority of the season, João Pedro has been useless. Been absolutely useless. But under Rosignol, we've seen it against Palace. He just looks really well suited to the game. Maybe it was the team he was playing and the fact there was space for him, but there's just something in my mind which is telling me João Pedro could be a decent option for Thiago replacement specifically because of the fixtures. If we look and we consider that we'll be getting Thiago around game week 27 to 28, that could be a perfect replacement for the short term. João Pedro against West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley. 3 of those 4 home fixtures. Then we sell when we hit 28 when he plays Arsenal away and jump back onto Thiago. That could be such a great short-term move. But is João Pedro really that good? Am I just reacting to that one game week? I think I could be, but maybe this is the start of a really good trend for João Pedro here. So that is a move I'm considering to make. Another point I want to quickly mention is Virgil van Dijk, and really what am I planning to do with him, because Newcastle and City both at home, it isn't the end of the world. It's not a terrible set of fixtures because of the fact it's at home, but Liverpool defensively, again, disappointed against Bournemouth. We did believe that there would be goals in the game and, obviously no clean sheet, but not in the manner we've seen it happen at the weekend. So big worries about those 2. But when we kind of look really long term and think about, well, could we actually just not make the transfer and have more benefit just keeping a hold of them? We actually could. Sunderland away is hard, but still, Sunderland have been struggling to score goals. I support them. I should know that. Forest away, West Ham, Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, Fulham, Everton. Like, the good fixtures are there, and I think I could easily keep a hold of them. It would be a relatively short-term transfer to get rid and jump back on because of the fixtures are so good. Another quick point about, of course, Tavernier there. We mentioned briefly, we don't know when he's back. Apparently the injury isn't as bad as they thought, and for me, when we're looking at Bournemouth's fixtures long term, they're absolutely amazing. They're amazing for a really long time, all the way up until game week 30/31. Absolutely fantastic. If he plays, maybe even after these 2 here, and joins us in 27, penalty taker, 5.5 differential, he's fantastic. And part of the reason that Evan Nielsen is in the team, because he should be on penalties now. Tavernier's injured. But yeah, that's the immediate thoughts in terms of transfers this week. But there really could be a situation where we just roll, because there are quite a lot of unknowns still in the coming game weeks. But there are a few ways I can think of right now where I can just squeeze an extra few points with my team. I can make it just that little bit better. And that's maybe the route we go this week for game week 24. But that's my current thoughts for the game week. Let me know what you're doing for game week 24 in the comments. This week I've got a huge video coming to you guys. It's a podcast with the founder and creator of the Night Managers algorithm. It's not only going to be super useful for FPL game week 24, but for FPL in general, talking about chip strategy, doubles and blanks, data and FPL, and everything in between. So look out for that video later this week. If you did enjoy this video though, make sure you have clicked the like button, and don't forget to subscribe as well if you aren't already for future FPL content and FPL streams. But that is everything for today's video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.